Stand by for a second.
Now recording.
Auto Club next week.
All right.
Okay, hang on before you start. Hey guys, just want to let you know we're going to have a little bit of a special episode this week. It is extended. We had a long interview with a couple of the setup builders that we use from Premier Setups, our primary sponsor. So just giving you a heads up, longer episode than usual.
Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, Bobby Jonas.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, welcome. Brad Wren.
By the end of the weekend, I will be so tired of Daytona.
It's 24-hour week, David Hall.
I bet you won't be as tired as Tom if you've seen what he's going to have to do because of what he wants to do.
We call him Tom the Dual Stinner. Doug Deedy
Hello, everyone.
and Chris Randall.
Good evening, everybody.
On today's show, we sit down with Premier Racing's next-gen setup builders Brandon Evans and Scott Perfetti. See what to do when a wind sim won't keep you cool. Is the Moza AB9 still not a shifter? What are the two F1 stars doing during the off-season? Show you another way to track your stats and two competing arguments on motion.
That's right, Mike. And remember that you can follow along with us on your PC or your mobile device in real time as you listen to the show and see for yourself all the great topics and products we'll discuss by visiting iRacersLounge.com. Select the show notes. We hope to see you there.
So I know Mike likes to go around and look for where Dell is hiding in each track. Have you taken this video and gone to look at all these places as well, Mike?
No, but it's a neat idea if you're looking for something to do. We got a YouTube video here where he shows off some impressive hidden details in iRacing maps. Uh, And so some of those are, it shows off a fully modeled Walmart at the new Miami track with nearby strip malls and mystery towers. At Bristol, you can go up in Victory Lane. You can actually drive your car in there. At Spa, all kinds of stuff. Gift shop. There's actually a marketing helmet. At Daytona, you get the moving planes on the backstretch. Long Beach, the harbor details are pretty cool, including a Carnival cruise ship and the Queen Mary. Interestingly, an iRacing logo flies as the flag on the back of the Queen Mary. Uh, Rendering oddity, so you can only see it from one angle. Um, and then moving on to Nürburgring, one of my favorite tracks, the map includes a detail surrounding of towns, a church, and the castle that the track actually goes around. Um, And there's several other manufacturer facilities you can see, like Hyundai, GM, Aston Martin, and so forth, right there along the straight.
So it's incredible the amount of detail. I won't deny that at all. But is it necessary, to render all of the chairs inside of a restaurant in the grandstands up in a suite? I mean, everybody struggles with track optimization and frame rates and stuff like that. Do we really need all of that detail?
Well, a lot of it is turned off when with level of detail. It won't show when when it's further away.
Good point. I mean, just because they draw them there, Brad, doesn't mean that you're suffering from your FPS because they did. And look, it won't even render those chairs unless you fly like a bird and go into that building and see the chair.
All right, be careful. We're going to get a copyright strike for quoting a song. Mike is like a bird. Yep, it's pretty neat though. Have you found Dell at Nürburgring?
Yeah, he's on the castle. Yeah, there's a castle up on the hill, the highest hill, and if you kind of realize, oh, the track actually goes around the castle.
Well, this next guy, I don't think he's doing this. He'd rather just be spending his time going to the top of the practice charts on iRacing when he's not real racing. Tell us a little bit about it, Brad.
Yeah, I had a Reddit post here from, let's see, Ali Not from Bali. Well, that's an interesting name. But I got a screenshot. Oscar Piastri was turning laps. Let's see, what is it? This was GT3 practice at Adelaide. So 117.346. So about tenth and a half quicker than the next fastest guy. But no, glad to see F1 drivers on the service. Anytime we see professional guys on here is cool. I don't know. Don't have Adelaide, so I haven't turned a lap there yet. I don't know if that's a sufficient or quick time.
Isn't that his home track?
He is from Australia.
Well, of course, top of the charts by 2/10 over everybody else. So well done.
I wonder what it'd be like if Shane had gotten in there.
Well, he'll be probably going back to Australia now with the playoff format changes.
New Zealand.
He raced in Australia. He's from
He
New Zealand, but he raced in Australia. All right. How did the roar go? Bobby, well, you don't have the script pulled up quite yet, do you?
No.
Okay. We've got a post from iRacing Official, though, Chris.
Yeah, the Roar was last weekend, getting ready for Daytona 24 coming up this weekend. They said that there were 159 splits this weekend with 9,380 driver entries and completed 548,424 laps around Daytona. I know you ran, or I think you ran it, didn't you, Brad? Or y'all ran something this weekend. I don't know if you ran the Roar. I think, Bobby, you also ran this, didn't you?
Yeah, I ran. I finished second.
Man, good run. So Bob, did you have weather? I mean, how'd the race go? Was there any rain?
No rain. It was really foggy at the very end of it. It got really bad. Other than that, it was sunshine the whole time. Other than that, it was a pretty good race. Just a little frustrating finishing second.
All right, Doug, you're now a regular, so you get to take the next one. Cogsworth, PI, Toolbox.
Yeah, I tried using this, and I actually found better luck personally with the Garage 61. Uh, it had some good data and good telemetry and everything like that. I really couldn't get everything figured out, how to compare lap times and everything like that to everybody else. But I've been using the Garage 61, so that worked a little bit better for me. It does have a lot of good, like I said, data points to it.
So you're talking about the Cosworth PI Toolbox Plus is available for the Daytona race this weekend. And so I guess if anyone knows what makes it plus.
Well, there's the subscription-based model that gives you everything. So I guess you're getting a free shot at it this weekend, so as opposed to paying I think the monthly fee or whatever. There's different levels of subscription-wise that you can get. So look, this stuff is super cool, but I don't have an engineering degree. I just don't. I would get lost. I mean, I can remember trying to look at Motec back in the day, and even then, it's just I don't have the bandwidth or the time to try to learn something like this. It's super cool, and I think it's awesome. I ain't got the bandwidth for it.
Well, look, like if you're from our guests that were on the show here, building setups, on a regular basis, this is a tool for people like that. Now, people like me, I'm the problem. The problem's between the wheel and the chair. Okay. It's not the setup. And so when I'm, trying to get faster, I got to work on myself. And to Brad's point, it is hard to kind of figure out. And, hey, Doug tried it. Look, if Doug ain't going to figure it out, I'm not going to figure it out. So,
All right, Mike, this one's definitely up your alley. Racing Ritual opens.
Yeah, so I ended up at Micro Center to get a price protection, $150 back on my Moza Active Pedal throttle because it went on sale, and so I went down there and got my money back. But then on the way back, I stopped by this guy I found on Instagram who's the owner at Racing Ritual. I believe his name is Brandon. We're gonna and David, you're gonna splice in a short interview here of about 3 minutes. Of I asked him a few questions, but I went down. They got a nice facility. It's really close to ASU and the Tempe Waterfront Mall. It's a really good location. And as I was in there for like 30, 45 minutes, they had foot traffic coming in. They had like ASU college age students walking in. There were four guys that raced each other in a group. Then another couple individual people came in. So he has some transient business, but he just opened this last week. So it's a brand new business. I talked to him about on the show how, we talk about these businesses all the time and wonder how they're going to survive. And he talked to me about some of his business strategies and their pricing structure and this and that. But man, as far as equipment, he had 12 really nice motion rigs, all identical with triples. And so, you get a group of people in there and go competitively racing, and really nice facility.
All right, and before we move to the next topic, let's hear that on site interview. Chris, what's going to make Verstappen unstoppable?
So yeah, we got a video on YouTube about how Verstappen's sim obsession will make him unstoppable in 2026. I watched this probably about a week ago or right when it came out, and basically it kind of went into how Max is so, and we've discussed it before, how he'll get up in the middle of the night and want to test something on the sim, and he really embraced it from the beginning. And he races, obviously, saw his Nurburgring results this year just from being on the sim. So with the new regulations, obviously they can go in there and program them. Nobody knows what it's going to do in real life, but he can practice on the sim. And they kind of compare that to Lewis Hamilton, who, he says he might get in the sim 20 laps a year, or I think something like that. Whereas Max is on it every day. He carries it around with him. He does it in hotels. He made people wait to move his house so he could finish a race. So I think it just kind of shows that new generation and how that's going to transfer over into motorsport.
Well, for me, I think it about given he has the diversity because of sim racing to be very familiar with these energy management systems where you're having to, dial a MGUK knob one way or the other at certain points in the lap. David, you coached me on that stuff when we drove cars like that where, hey, Mike, you need to, turn the knob at this point of the lap and this point of the other lap, and it's just all over my head. But I think that to the video's point, Max is just comfortable with that. He's done that. He's been in these 24-hour races. He knows what to do.
Yeah, I know that new regulations, they took away DRS and a lot of it's on the driver now. So I've heard a lot of drivers in interviews talking about how much there is this year versus previous years. So
Yeah, one of the things it touched on was the adaptability. So, sim racing forces us as drivers to have to adapt to different cars and tracks constantly. So, I mean, think about it. I mean, regular 12-week season, where are we at? We're at a different track every week. We run multiple series. You're always in different tracks. And, one thing they talks about is that that's he thinks that's why Verstappen can arrive basically at a new F1 circuit, and then within 50 minutes of practice, he's a second faster than anybody else. He's trained to be able to adapt quickly, of a constant learning. So again, and look, Max has said it over and over again that your future drivers are going to spend a lot of time on the sim. That's where they're coming from, and I think that's why he's trying to make such a push, to be able to bring those guys up from the sim side to get them to the real side. And we're already starting to see that and the benefits of that. I mean, this past year with Lillum and the GT3 and whatnot. So very cool.
Yeah, with the whole new F1 car, I mean, it's really switching cars going into this season. So who's going to be up to speed quickest? I think we know.
All right, this next post is pretty supercharged and ridiculous at the same time. It's a minivan that's like tricked out. I mean, like not like the opposite of lowrider, but like all custom tricked out. Um it's got LED lights all around it. It's got some parts that move out that normally don't have to. And to top that all off, it's got a booming sound system and a sim rig facing backwards in the cargo.
Amazing. What a car. And to put the sim rig in it, man, that just like the cherry on top. The hard no, right, Brad?
Somebody's got just too much money.
Too much time.
I
Yeah.
should say, if you're going to spend that kind of money, just get the Driven Dynamics rig.
What's funny is there's a helmet on the sim seat, like a proper helmet.
I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, if I had this, we go back to to see my mom or whatever. It's a 3 hour drive. If I could get Starlink put in, well, I have the wife drive and I can just sim race in the back seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but would you have motion installed, or are you going to get a little thrown off when she's cornering
It's
or
tied to the
to
hydraulics
the
already.
right and you're turning to the left? It is tied to hydraulics.
I don't know. It'd be
Okay.
kind of funny though.
Yeah, it's gonna be. You're gonna be like, "Hey, honey, can you stop turning so hard? You're throwing off my G forces."
It looks like a next level racing square tubular rig, what it looks like to me.
I think it is, but yeah, it's I mean, look, you see these guys do these crazy things with cars, but um yeah, I've never seen a sim rig in the back of a minivan. We see them in guys tractor trailers, and tractors and stuff like that. These guys that are over the road drivers. We've seen those here or there, but yeah, that's pretty next level.
All right, we've got some Sim Racing Expo in Charlotte updates. Looks like some more uh, guests or vendors, right, Brad?
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna, like I said last week, we're gonna try to start. As they continue to post stuff, we want to support this as well. I know we spent a lot of time promoting when we did the Sim Gaming Expo in Chicago, but look, guys, everybody needs to show up for this one too. So the more that we support these, the more opportunities we have in the U.S. for them. So just a couple hits this week. First was SimTrax. So I knew nothing about SimTrax until I started looking at this. So they're a multinational independent company dedicated to building laser scan tracks for use with various open source computer driving simulations. So these are guys that actually go out and scan tracks, probably sell the data. So I'd imagine maybe, I don't know, F1 teams or somebody's using these or other games. So that's pretty cool. And then we've also got Fallout Sim Racing is going to be there. So uh, they are, what is Fallout Sim Racing? Premier racing simulation experience and a complete turnkey solution for anyone looking to bring authentic motorsports into your home. So, Fallout's, I guess, they're building rigs, turnkey stuff. So, it's, I think the German one had 25,000 guests this past fall. So, it's going to be a good show. I've already booked my hotel room. Wife and I are going down for the weekend. We're going to probably spend about a day and a half here, almost 2 days at the expo as well. So, looking forward to it.
Is anybody else going to make this one?
I probably will. It's not that far.
Yeah, I think Westbrook said he's going to try to make it as well.
Yeah, he's probably pretty close. Yeah, I would love to take my son. Just go. It's the weekend of the 600 as well. Or no,
Yeah.
no, no, not. Oh, it is. It
It's,
is.
it's,
Okay.
It
yeah,
is.
it's Memorial Day weekend. So, I mean, we're going to go down Thursday, do the Hall of Fame. I expect RFK to do their fan day on that Friday. And then we'll go spend about a day and a half or so at the expo.
Hey, is this next one Will squared?
Yeah, so we got a post here. This is from Will Weaver, listener, and actually ran with him for the mech race, which we'll get into in a little bit. But one of the things that came up while we were racing, he got in to do his first stint, and he's like, "I got a problem." I'm like, "What's wrong?" He says, "My brake marker light's not on." I said, "What do you mean your brake marker light's not on?" I said, "What are you using for a brake marker?" He says, "The caution light that's green right before you get to the bus stop." I'm like, "Well, Will, it's definitely on my screen." He goes, "Well, it's not on mine." So he went through it did his stint and got out of the game, came back in, and could never get it to come on. So I told him, I said, "You better post something on the forums." So he went ahead and made a post on the iRacing forums, and come to find out, um, after a little bit of discussion, this has been something that's been ongoing for a while. I guess there's another topic on the forums, but apparently it says this happens for anyone who does not join the sim for the initial green flag, or if they exit the sim and then rejoin after the green. Because there are no yellow flags for endurance races to reset the lights remain off for the entire race. So I think this is something maybe they're going to try to get fixed at some point. And I was thinking about this today, actually. I'm like, why have we never discussed this before? Well, Daytona's the only track that we would run an endurance race on that actually has caution lights. Everywhere else, you don't have caution lights.
I use that same marker, but I guess I don't notice if it's green or not. I see the post and I see the light, the hardware instead of just the green marker.
Definitely
So
green for me.
I can remember it being green, but I know I got
Yeah.
back in I rebooted when I was running with Tom this weekend, um, just to clear up. JRT was doing something weird, so I went ahead and rebooted while he was running the stint just to freshen everything up. Um, and I guess I don't have trouble finding it because it's also right between the 2 and the 1 on the
Yeah.
fence.
Yeah. But yeah, none of them are working. So I mean, at Daytona, you've got them all the way around the track, and then even behind the start finish, you got the two big green poles. They weren't lit up for him either. So he came in. He was in the session when we started, but when it came time before he was to get in the car, he did like you, Dave. He jumped out, rebooted, and came back. And from that point on, they never worked. So he just had to find a different brake marker. But just one of those things to think about this weekend. If you're desperate and you're paying attention to this, and you come out of the session and you come back in, you're probably going to lose your marker.
Just be aware it is right there between the 2 and the 1. All right, Mike, you're always wanting to be able to track your stats. Is this going to be your solution?
Well, we're going to find out. I just clicked on the link. It's called iRacing Insights. I typed in my name and it says Race Analytics Dashboard and it's loading.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
checked this out earlier today. It took about 2-3 minutes to upload all my data and everything. It's actually pretty useful. It's pretty neat to see the stats.
The other day, I wanted to know how many races have I won at a particular track. That's it. Any car. And there's no way to look that up.
Yeah, this won't help you either.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's
you'd have to
neat.
go through. You'd have to go through every race and keep track on your own.
It's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's 2026 in the age of AI. I should be able to ask ChatGPT and get an answer.
this I'm looking at it right now. It will tell you wins by track. If you There's a overview cars tracks. So I think you can see wins by cars, wins by tracks. Uh, so it does look like it has some functionality. I don't think it has any of the unranked races still, but um, I think they're all ranked here.
It doesn't go very far back either, as far as history.
Yeah, it says this one says mine says 5 seasons, current
Yeah.
plus 4 previous. Yeah, older race data is not displayed.
See, that's not going
And
to
he's
help
got
me.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a little thing. He says this is a hobby project, and to keep cost under control, I limit the amount of data. So
Yeah, but it's pretty neat. I mean, if you're just looking for, how did you do last season? It's kind of nice to jump in here and kind of got everything there, You can see what you did last season. What's your I rating been doing or your safety rating, like over the last, year or so. I mean, we've seen a bunch of these, but yeah, Mike, I'm not sure when we ever get to the point where it's easy to find that stuff. It's quite sad, to be honest with you.
I think it's not fair to think that a third party can come up with what I'm looking for because it's such a large data set, because you need to include going back all time. And so iRacing has to be the one that develops a proper statistics uh, page or portal or something. But man, I really feel like it's needed in sim racing.
You would feel like for the premier competitive racing service that stats and history would be something that would be available to everybody, especially the bigger it gets.
Well, stats are important to racers. I mean, look, if you
Yeah.
start thinking about stuff, what do you do? You go to racingreference.com, you can find anything you want. I
We
mean,
did iRacers reference.com.
yeah. I mean, again, the data's there somewhere. Every race is logged. I mean, it's there somewhere. It's just, somebody needs to figure it out. I mean, we remember about a year ago they were partnering with Microsoft with their AI or to do something along the AI lines. I mean, this would be a perfect thing to where you could be able to search and, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, the data's there. It's just you can't tell me they can't figure out how to incorporate it.
I mean, this guy has some neat graphs. Like this graph is called rating history, and it shows a line graph of your safety rating against your I rating, and you can kind of see how they flow and ebb together.
All right. The events list is a little shorter since we knocked a few of them out of the way, but we do have the Daytona 24-hour coming up this weekend. There's 4 start times. There is a balance of power out. I don't think we need to cover the individual things on that.
Still didn't do enough to the Porsche.
David, our start time. I'm running Saturday night, right? Not Friday night.
Yeah, but we're starting the basically Aussie time zone one, like 2 I'm getting up at 1 a.m. in the morning to start racing Friday night.
Okay.
And that's so Tom can run with both teams. And he's going to be racing all day with about 30 minutes between going from one team to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other.
Boy, what a nice challenge for his new equipment, his brand new cockpit and rig, and all his fancy dancy equipment he just got.
Yeah, it's too bad he doesn't stream because he could turn that into it because he's actually, I mean, he's almost doing the like kind of like the guys that do the 24 hours all by themselves thing, except he's not going to get disqualified because we're running different time zones so that he can run both cars.
Now, speaking of Tom, he had a horrible problem with his computer. What was his solution? Anybody?
He took it to Micro Center and they diagnosed the CPU had gone bad, so he just had to replace the CPU and got it back and got it up and running. So we're running, I guess, a four-man team in GTP, and we've got 2 GT3 teams going, I believe, Brad.
Yeah, I'm running along with 3 guys from Grassroots Racing, so it'll be 4 of us. William Westbrook, Will Weaver, and Jacob Jung. So we're running the Mercedes and GT3, and then Chris and Tom, Justin. I'm not sure who else. I think it's 4 of them.
He's
Um,
got a guy that runs at actually the local Oswego track, the
okay.
local track champ.
Yeah, I was helping him get his spreadsheet set up. So yeah, they're gonna run Corvette. So yeah, I mean it'll be fun. This is a big one. So this will be the Daytona 24 is the largest sim racing event of the year. The largest every single year. No ifs, ands, or buts. So it's going to be fun. Some of us did an 8-hour event last weekend. We'll get into that in a little bit, but 8 hours is pretty easy compared to 24.
Me and Joe will be running a GTP car as well.
Just the 2 of y'all?
Wow.
I think so. Joe gets kind of nervous because of his blindness, and something we've done a lot together over since they started doing team racing. We've always run together, and I don't mind. If something happens, it's fine. I like running with him.
Oh, well, excellent. Good luck.
I'll be streaming my portion to TikTok and I'll probably stream a bunch more of the race as well when I'm not working, but check it out.
Let's hope we don't have what happened yesterday with Verizon over the weekend.
We're not using Verizon to race, are we?
No, but that would have been bad if I did use Verizon for internet. Your internet was down too, wasn't it? Or no, you had internet.
Yeah, I don't have Verizon internet, but no, it was a bad day at work yesterday, but yeah,
So of note, it's only the 30-minute warm up. I guess they've decided they don't need the 60 minutes to make sure that it doesn't kill over and die. So, but it may take up to 10 minutes to spin the server up, but I'm assuming that the timer on the warm up won't start until your session is actually open. So our schedules may get slid off by about 10 minutes too.
Yeah, but just you want to get in early. I just that's all I can say. When it opens up, it'll probably open up at what 6:30. I would just go ahead and jump in, and even if you let it sit and then let it flip.
Is there anything else this week in iRacing? I know Ems is running Daytona as well. I've run a few already.
Yeah, I mean, all the most of the sports cars are at Daytona. So, but the Winter NASCAR iRacing Series, week 10 of 13. So only got a few weeks left. We'll be at North Wilkesboro, and looks like the GT3 um, regional tour, the Americas, is surprise at Daytona. Everything's at Daytona. Asia Pacific's at Fuji, and then Europe is at Spa. So kind of a light week. A lot of focus on Daytona.
Are we really already that close to the next build?
No, the Winter Series will stop as soon as Cup starts back up. 3 weeks away.
Oh, so you meant okay, not week
Yeah.
10 of the build. Okay. I was
No,
like,
sorry.
podcast housekeeping. Leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform to make it easier for more listeners to find the podcast. Please mention the podcast to your fellow drivers so they don't miss out. We would appreciate it. Check out the Discord and get involved in the discussion. If you were in the Discord, you saw Brad's new wheel, the Dale Jr. green, mellow yellow with embroidered Dale Jr. on the
Oh,
bottom. What was that, Bobby?
Sun drop, not mellow yellow.
Sun drop. I'm sorry. Yeah, sun drop. Anyway, get involved in the Discord, guys. Lots going on over there. Um, we do have a website, iRacersLounge.com, where you can actually see the same show notes that we see. We are in regular rotation at Performance Motorsports Network.
all right. In the league race, our turnout was a little bit low. So one of the things we're going to do next week, I'll go ahead and announce it, and hopefully more of you guys can make it next week when we're at California. We're going to cut the race length. I'm wondering if the fact that we're having these caution-free races with no breaks at 60% is just wearing everybody down. So we're going to cut the race length down to 30% because we ran Martinsville caution-free. Could you imagine? So yeah, we ran it caution free. Justin Thompson took the win. Um, Christian Chandler was in second. Wait, is this up to date? I don't remember. I thought Christian won this one.
I pulled the results straight out of from the league.
Okay, okay. The results are not right. What we shortened the race because there were so few of us. We just decided to only go 150 laps, and so it must have bumped Justin up because Justin actually came in third. Christian was actually first, and Grady was actually second. So I'm going to have to go back and fix the points because you'll notice that it shows on the standings. Christian has taken the lead over Justin. He's got a 27-point lead. There's now 2 drop weeks on that standings page. So I'm glad I saw that. So yeah, come on out. We'll have a shorter race. It'll be California. It's clean racing. One of the things that has been hurting participation is the Gen 4 is just not what the Gen 4 should be. A couple of the guys that run in the league that are professional drivers or close enough agree that it's not where it needs to be, and it's not at the top of the list either. So that's kind of hurting the popularity. Plus, most people, I guess, want to drive the the cup car, but so it is what it is. All right, let's kick off the hardware software, starting with a real DIY. Brad, kick it off.
Yeah, this was iRacing community. It was a Facebook post. So from Blake Halpin. So he's got Thrustmaster, the T3PA Pro pedals, and said he wanted to try to upgrade the brake pedal for a more realistic feel, and didn't want to use kind of the really hard rubber cone mods. So he inserted a rubber street hockey puck that he found in his garage behind the the backside of the pedal. So he's got the pedals. If I remember correctly, this pedal set is almost it's like they're inverted. But yeah, so he kind of slid this in there, and I guess he's getting a little bit of resistance or some pressure there. I would imagine these are not load cell pedals; they're probably hall sensors, so it's positional. But just trying to get a little bit better feel to it as opposed to a spring or something. If it works, I mean, I think back in the day, I mean, we used to do all kinds of things. I mean, I can remember having to making adjustments and trying different stuff with the G25 pedals and stuff like that. So hey, good for you, man. Thinking outside the box, and it's in the garage, and you probably didn't have to pay for it, so that's even better.
Is it? That sounds like something I do. Go hunting around the garage, Chris, looking for something like I don't even know what I'm looking for, but when I find it, I'll know what it is.
Yeah, it's some ingenuity right there.
All right, I can't believe we didn't get to this one last week. I remember watching this one quite over Christmas break. Sarah has motion now. She got the Cubic System QS 210 3DOF system. Um, and what was really enjoyable about watching this video, you got to go through the whole setup process. But when she tried it, it was her reactions were like a kid in the candy store. It was just she really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think we did talk about the video a little bit because there was another video on the same gear. Um, but yeah, it was fun to watch Sarah and her impression of how it felt. Obviously she was at the Sim Gaming Expo and she's done motion before, but to have it on her own rig and her own seat and everything, I'm sure it's delightful.
Chris,
It
is
is.
same one you've got?
I have the 220, which is the one that has a little bit more travel. It has 100 millimeters, and it can do the faster speed. I actually have it running at um, 230 instead of the 115, so it will do that, and it's very sharp. I mean, she was throwing it on there with just the Allen or the hex key, like kind of. I was like, man, I don't know. I'd torque that thing down if you're going to use it for a while, but it is pretty easy to put on, especially if you're doing it from scratch. Like that's easy to do. When you're putting on an existing rig, not so much. But so far, this system has been awesome. Any problems I've had have been about my actual PC or something else, or the way the USB was interacting. But the system itself is great. It has a built-in. She didn't even talk about it, but it has a built-in um, part of it where it will match the motion to the screen. It'll take control of the camera of the actual sim in certain sims, and iRacing is it's pretty flawless. You kind of get on a bank and then you adjust it so your rig is, or so the camera's the same as your rig, and it takes it from there. And yeah, I mean, if you've got the cash to do it, and I got it for a ridiculous deal, so that's the only reason I got to do it. But I wouldn't go back. I mean, it is really cool.
So,
So
Chris,
you said it does have the feature. I'm sorry, it does have the feature where the camera will move as if your monitors were attached.
Correct. It does it for monitors and it does it for VR. So it'll take care of both of them. And in iRacing, it's really really good. In some of the other sims I've tried in, like Automobilista 2, you have to go in and get in the helmet cam and do a couple things, but it still works. I've not tried it in VR, but on the and I have bigger monitors, so that probably helps as well. I've got a full kind of. I don't ever lose any part of the car that I want to see. Whereas if I'm on an embankment, the whole screen is tilted like this. So if you're on smaller monitors, might not work. But I think if you were on smaller monitors, you might just mount the monitors to the rig itself.
yeah, and I so latency. I mean, she mentions 8 milliseconds or under, but that software that you're talking about, does it add any additional latency or?
When you right now, I'm having a little bit of problem with telemetry from SimHub messing with it. But if I turn SimHub off, it's instant. I mean, it's great. Now on the screen, there is a kind of smoothing dial because obviously it's moving the camera. So if you don't smooth it a little bit, it kind of looks a little jumpy, but once you smooth it out, it looks great. And the actual motion itself with the belt tensioner is instantaneous. I mean, I can't tell the difference. It really, you really feel like I think like haptics, like the belt tensioner, like everything, it's a lot at first. So you're like, oh my god. But then once you get used to it, you can really feel the weight transfer. You can feel, what you're tired. You can feel a lot if you have it set up right. And on this, I'm running it at like half power or half gain, which is it's not so when you run it full, it's just too much. Out of the box, it's way too much. So you really have to turn it down. But it's instantaneous for me.
Okay,
Now we
so
did learn that the. Go ahead.
well, this is the key question. Since you've got it up and running, dialed in, have you ever turned it off and run a race? Say, hey, I don't
No,
want to run it.
no, no,
I was
not
going
at
to
all.
mention on the latency. We did learn at the Sim Gaming Expo that at least according to one of the developers of one of the motion rigs, that iRacing data comes out a little slow latency
Mm.
wise compared to some of the other sims.
I don't notice it, but I'm not. I probably wouldn't notice it anyway. I'm not to that level. So to me, it feels like when I'm doing something, it's if I tap the brakes, it goes forward. If I take off, it goes backwards. So it's pretty instant for me. I don't notice it.
Now, Sarah did mention that she had a little bit of an issue with her monitor positioning and had to move it a little back and then figured out how to move it up. And I know you, at one point, just with your regular rig, Mike, you were doing the same thing. Just positioning your monitors was an issue around your wheels, right?
Yeah. Well, with me, I mean, my rig is on wheels, so I just move the rig and to be in the right spot. But yeah,
Yeah, I've got. It's not too hard to figure out if you put it up and you see what your maximum tilt forward and backward will be. I mean, I think my eyes are 36 inches from my screens, and so it's not too far away. These are big screens, so
it sounds to me like the
my
Cubic is a good choice because of that software when these other ones don't have such a thing.
their software is great. I mean, I've used it for the belt tensioner for a while, but it's really easy. They're really helpful. I mean, they'll help you through Discord. They help me troubleshoot stuff, and they're pretty good company. I have nothing but good things to say about them.
So the other company that I would potentially buy motion from is this one, David. We have a video here from Gray's Dynamics about Vero Motion, which we did get to try at the Sim Gaming Expo in Chicago this last year, and I think everybody thought it was pretty good. Gray's Dynamics thinks it's good as well. I mean, he talks about the different levels. They have the champion level, the legend level. Starts anywhere at 5,500 and up to 20,000 for the 6 DOF.
Interestingly, though, the clickbaity title says it made him slower.
Well, he said initially it did, but the more time he spent in it, he got back to hitting his regular times after practicing and kind of putting all the pieces together. And I think that's pretty common. You guys can remember when we were at the expo. We got on one of the rigs and it just was off. The motion was not lined up with what we were seeing, and it was miserable. Um,
Well, that was because it was the wrong field of view.
But you also see that guys going from singles to triples or VR to triples or triples to VR. It takes a minute to relearn your surroundings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things he does say though is there's the 99.7% rule. Where about 99.7% of the population are faster with motion because it helps them with weight transfer, teaches them that brake control and whatnot. But when you get into the aliens, that's where it just doesn't make a difference. Max is not going to use it. Again, Max drives a race car. He knows what motion feels, what it actually feels like. It's the same process we see, with the super elite esport guys. There's the graphics are turned down. They're not looking for any of the things other than hitting lap times. That's all they're worried about. So every distraction, everything is turned off. They don't want any of that.
The force
Some of them even
feedback
turn
turned
the force
down or
feedback.
off.
Yeah, yeah. I was about to say the same thing.
But I mean, like for us, I mean, we're, it's immersion for us. That's what we go for. I mean, the reason I put haptics on is because I'm not going to do motion, so I want something to. It's an immersion thing. Why do we spend all the time doing what we do? Ambient lighting. Does ambient lighting make me faster? No, it's immersion. I
Yeah.
like it. If I wanted a wind sim, which I would never want a wind sim, it would be for immersion, which I don't drive open cockpit cars, so I have no wind on me.
So, Chris, when I compare these two videos and the documentation we have here on the page, the Vero system is 2 millisecond latency, and then
I saw that.
the Cubic is 8, and then it doesn't say the price on the Cubic, but maybe you could enlighten us. But how does that compare to the Vero at 5500? How do you compare these two?
Well, I don't know what Vero's how much travel they have. I misread this and thought that it said they had 250 millimeters travel, and I was like, I wouldn't get on that if that was the case because mine is about 4 inches, and there's been a couple times where I think this thing's going to jump out of the cups and like literally crash. It's pretty violent at times. But for I would say the 55 6500, I think that's where that 210 model from Cubic starts. And if it's got 2 milliseconds of latency, and I think the Cubic is faster. I think it's 800 millimeters per second. Um, but it looks like the same weight, everything else. So I think as long as you had the screen um, syncing software with this one, I don't see there would be too much of a difference.
I don't think it does. I don't know that it does.
Yeah, that's a big thing because I could tell immediately because I didn't really know about that aspect of it when I was setting it up. And I was like, this seems a little weird. So I was like trying to, turn back on the neck movement or turn back on one of the movements in the game. And that made it a little bit better. I guess it felt a little bit more real. But once I locked back to the horizon and then just had the software do its thing, that was when it felt like there
And when
wasn't
there
any
are free
motion in
tools
the front of the
available.
car. So
So I
that kind of
told
was like the aha moment. I think that's I think a month or so ago we had a video about that, and it is a huge part of this.
All right, Brett, help me out here. Is there actually two articles here? And are we missing a headline, or is this Instagram post related to the video?
Well, the Instagram post is about the force feedback telemetry, fat or future. But the video from Dan Suzuki is about the VRS base. That's why it was put up underneath there.
Well, the guy talking about the force feedback is the guy from VRS, so these are related. And he talks about telemetry feedback, which is my favorite term this year in 2026. Like especially on my pedals. When I got telemetry feedback on my pedals, I was just happy as could be. But they're talking about wheelbases specifically, and this guy's pretty critical about the whole idea of telemetry feedback is the way it comes across.
Well, it's nothing new. I mean, it's what he says. It's been around for probably about 10 years. I mean, you had IRF, FB, AccuForce was the first ones to do it. I don't think it's anything groundbreaking, but it seems to have kind of become the new thing that all the wheelbases are doing. B&M or VMN, VMN, VMM,
VNM, yeah,
V&M.
they're doing it.
Yeah, SemiCube 3 has got it. This is a very long interview. If you actually go to YouTube and listen to it, it's very interesting. It's way too long to even try to us tackle on the script, but I would suggest our listeners, go listen to it because it's good. I mean, he gives quite a bit of information about it, and again, it's nothing really new. But I don't know. I've tried Myra. I've gone back and forth. I use it. I don't use it. I use it. I don't use it. Right now, I'm back to just using the straight right out of iRacing just because I think it feels better to me. I don't have as much feedback, but I feel like I have better control of the car. Um, Maybe that's hard to explain, but mainly with catching slides on the roadside, I just seem like I can feel the weight transfer better as opposed to getting all the rumbles from the road and whatnot. But it definitely has become the next thing when it comes to wheelbases of what's coming in the future, which, as he says, is nothing really new.
And then the video from Dan Suzuki is a review of the VRS wheel base, which is a neat title. He called Buy Once Up instead of Buy Once Cry Once. It's Buy Once Upgrade Forever. The idea is you buy this wheelbase at the cheaper rate of $450 for 6 Newton meters, and then you pay extra money later when you're ready to unlock, and the same hardware will move up to at least to the a max of 20 Newton meters via a software change. You have to pay up to $798 for that.
Yeah, they introduced this last year. It's probably been about a year or so ago, and yeah, I mean it's same wheelbase. It's just basically software and firmware will go ahead and they continue to increase the Newton meters. I mean, I think when this was originally announced, that they've come out with a new wheelbase now, but they've got a lot of these wheelbases just kind of sitting around, so they had to come up with something to do. I think VRS does a good job. We tried the stuff at the expo. I wasn't completely in love with it, but I think Mike, you realized that it was just set up wrong, and I think even when you tried to explain to the guy what to do, he didn't even know what you were talking about.
Oh yeah, when we tried these, they were clipping. They didn't have it set
Mm.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good. I mean, it makes sense if you're just starting out and you don't mind the giant cables coming out of the side. That was one thing I couldn't get past on this video. But you like for instance, me, you buy the LG, the Logitech first, and then you get a 5 Newton meter, and then a little while later, you're like, oh man, do I need more? And so in this one, you only pay the difference between the 6 and whatever Newton meter you want to go up to. It's not so as far as value goes, and if you're a new racer that doesn't really know what they want, which when you're new, how can you? It makes sense from a value proposition.
But yeah,
Yeah,
like you said, the downside is the cables. You got the exterior box, you got the extra box, and all that stuff. I mean, the hardware wise, this is nothing new. This is old technology. Nothing wrong with it. It works very well, but it's just old. I mean, controllers are now built into the wheelbase and whatnot. You don't have to have all the other stuff. So again, there's a trade off there if you're going to go that route. Doug, you were going
Right.
to say?
yeah, and I'm being new to this. I've only been in iRacing for about a year, and I've already gone from an R5 base to an R9 base, and I'm looking to upgrade again. And within a year, this was really interesting to me, and makes a lot of sense.
Might have saved you
Yeah,
some money.
one last thing on this. He did say that I guess they had reprogrammed their force feedback completely from VRS, and they have something called next gen force feedback now. So the way he explained it was it tries to anticipate what's coming in and melds that because I guess the signal might be a little bit lag or latency, like Dave was talking about earlier. It tries to predict what will come in and mix that with the actual signal when it gets there. I don't know how that would work. I don't know how that would feel, but Dan Suzuki says it works well. So
All right, Mike, you're always complaining about being too hot when you're racing. This really would be a good option for you.
Yeah, we got a video on how to build a do-it-yourself cooling system. Build a fully functional motorsports cooling system that's 3D printed. And so pretty cool idea. I don't know if this is how I would do my approach, but he goes through exactly how to do it, how to wire it, all that. It's definitely beyond what I know how to do.
I didn't watch this. Is it literally what it's showing on the picture here, like or is it into the seat?
It's the canister and everything.
Okay.
Just buy a fan. Just buy a fan.
Or a wind sim.
WinSim
No,
is the way to
no,
go.
just
Yes.
buy a fan. Just buy a fan. That's all you got to do. Go to Walmart, go to Amazon.com, just buy a fan.
Well, I mean, that's what I got. I got two big old fans, Lasco fans on either corner of the triples blowing in at me. And so, yeah, they're not hooked
But
to a
but
wind
but
sim or anything, but they keep me cool.
but immersion.
I'm going to make an admission. My WinSim has not gone back on the rig yet, if it ever does. So, I mean, not that I hated it, but I'm just like, man, do I really need to fit this in? I have a
No.
mini split that blows on me. So,
Brad will send
There
you
you
the
go.
check later.
yeah, I'll send it in the
Wel-
mail. It's
Welcome
coming
to
your way.
welcome to the dark side.
All right, we've covered BDH quite a bit before, but I guess they've got a new sequential shifter coming out.
Well, it's on pre-sale. Uh, so get yours while the getting's good if you want to get one of these sequentials.
That's right. They've had the H pattern, and this is the sequential is coming out. That's right.
I'm sure it's probably what 12, $1,300.
If not closer to two grand. It was not cheap when Joe bought his.
And they got the active one coming out too. So, yeah,
Well, actually, it's $891.
not too bad.
What? No, no, no.
I mean, you got to throw taxes in too, but yeah, website.
Yeah, I like
Brad,
my I like my
you just
A-Logs one with all metal. I mean, it'll last forever, and it's just perfectly fine at $350.
Yeah, the
Brad,
active one's a little more money.
Brad just got the rim, so you probably have to wait before you can get the wife to let you buy this too.
I'm not. No, absolutely not. We just don't use it enough. I mean, the only thing I use a sequential for is the cup car. That's it. That's it. On the roadside, we don't. No road cars that I drive, and any new road cars do not have a sequential shifter. They're paddle shifters. So, I mean, it's like the H pattern. It's fantastic. It's just be a waste of money for most people.
Here.
They
Speaking of
My
waste
wife
of
said
money, what do they think about this? Is it Will that's on this next one? Is that Boosted Media?
It's
Uh,
third wheel exclusive, actually.
okay. Well, he is talking about the Moza shift active shifter. So, what did he tell us, Chris?
Yeah, on this one, I think it's more of. I think we've seen a similar review in the past, and I've said similar things. It's a flight stick first that they added some software to get another use out of it. Um, it's gotten better with the software. It feels a little more gated, but obviously it's not. It's just two direct drive motors in there. I never use it. I never use it. I wanted to use it so bad, and I even took my clutch off because I just don't use it. even with cars that I should use it with. It's just too many misshifts. Um, I mean, it. I had a Turtle Beach that was like the one that came out that looked like a Miata shifter. Quite honestly, it's not built as well, but it was a better shifter. So
Yeah, this is a critical review of what I call the toaster. The big old Moza active shifter. But yeah, this guy's pretty critical of it. He shows himself racing with it and talks about, like you said, missed shifts and not performing how you would expect it to.
I used one in flight mode with TCS at the expo, and didn't feel so great even in that mode.
I've heard people rave about it on flight sims. I have the stick. I've not ever used it because I don't have time to do race sims, much less flight sims. So um, I don't know. I don't. It might be one of those things where you have to set up the software correctly. But I hear people say it's a good flight stick. So I can't attest to that.
Yeah, I have it also, and I use it in sequential in the cup cars. That's about the only time I use it. I
I didn't
haven't
even know
tried
it
it
had
in the H
sequential.
bench. Oh, yeah. So that's about the only time I've ever used it. I don't have any complaints about it, but I don't have anything to compare it to also. But I also bought it to be a flight stick because I'm thinking about getting into flight simulation too. But
I mean, this thing was hyped up. If we remember, I mean,
hmm
it was hyped up. This was it. This was the first active shifter, and that's what it was. It was sold as an active shifter.
Moza took it off their driving page. It's not on there anymore. And the Discord acts like they were like, we just kind of threw that in. And I'm like, I don't, I remember a different story.
Well, this next story is going to hurt a lot of people's pocketbooks, Doug.
You're on mute, Doug.
sorry, I got a little lost here.
We're looking at the Nvidia price hikes that are coming down the pike. Go ahead and take it, Brad.
Yeah. So I guess it was probably 4 or 5 weeks ago was the announcement that I think it was Corsair was not gonna make any more RAM to sell to the public because they were diverting their sales to all of the big companies for AI and data centers and all that stuff. So of course, as soon as that happened, it's like eggs. If you happen to have some extra sticks of RAM around, you could retire on them. So Nvidia, this is a Instagram post. Nvidia is reporting cutting consumer GPU production as much as 40% starting in 2026. Again, with RAM prices skyrocketing. And we got a couple other Instagram hits here. Again, Nvidia, AMD both expected to increase GPU prices by 150%. So you're talking about an RTX 5090 could increase from $2,000 to $5,000. It's all
Just
because
a You said Corsair is actually crucial in their
sorry,
parent
sorry,
company,
crucial.
Micron.
Yeah, sorry, misspoke there. So
Well,
news.
that's part of it, but the other part of it was that started all this, I think, is OpenAI actually purchased up 40% of the world's RAM all at once. And so that depleted the supply completely.
Yeah, yeah. So again, it's just there's all sorts of it's always the unintended consequences that ends up happening. Um, so again, price of RAM surged some 614%. Like Mike said, since OpenAI purchased 40%. Um, yeah, look, I mean, I can remember right before Christmas, Micro Center had a bunch of deals on, you know, uh, motherboard, CPU, and RAM, and I'm like, wow, that's freaking cheap. I didn't want to upgrade. I'm like, do I should I? Like, nah, I'm gonna wait it out. But I don't know. I would imagine there's enough demand outside of the big tech companies that this is probably just going to be a momentary blip, and they're going to have to increase production to do whatever they're going to do. You can't just take an entire market and say we're not going to sell to consumers anymore.
Well, if they bump it up to 5,000, people are not going to buy it at that price, and they'll start. The bottom line will ultimately get hurt unless they've just decided they don't need the consumer anymore. And that somebody will come in and fill that niche if there's money to be
Oh,
made.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, if one decides they're just not going to do it, there'll be somebody else that'll come in and will fill that gap.
So on my stream last night, I had a listener asking about buying a computer. He needs a new gaming computer, and I told him about this article. Dude, if you're going to buy, you better do it now before this happens.
All right, what do we have next with these U block out shades? Chris, take this one.
Yeah, so this was an Instagram post of Blind Rhino Racing, and it was kind of a commercial or video showing some custom made blackout shades that you can tie in. I think he had it on Google or Alexa or something. And
What do blackout shades have to do with racing?
Monitors or anything else. It looks pretty cool, but I don't. I'm in the garage. I don't have any windows, so.
Yeah, I'm in the basement with no windows either. But I will say, in previous houses when I did have a rig, this was always an issue. The house that we were at in Maryland, where my rig was, it wasn't so much it was a bay window behind me, but it was a bay window, and then above that was like about an 18-inch, another transom window, and that's where the sun would come in. So my wife actually made us a set of curtains just to cover up that one set of windows because otherwise the glare was so bad. But I mean, this is pretty neat. You can probably get these from blinds.com too, and probably a little bit cheaper. But yeah, I mean, again, if you're in a spot where you need to black out the room, and it does make things better. I will say, being in the basement, being able to turn the lights out, it's so much better than what it ever was trying to race in a room with lights on. I don't know how I did it for years, but immersion wise, it's so much better when you can turn all the lights off, or like I do, I kind of have them on a blue, and then I can, I've got three different lights that are all controlled by. I'm not going to say her name because then she'll start talking to me, but the Amazon uh, thing. And but I can turn, I just can turn lights off, and it's great.
Well, for me, it's important to have the room dark as possible, and then the ambient lighting uh, that I have in place really gives a glow or the ambient lighting where I can actually walk around and move around.
All right. Ironically, we're doing this podcast right now on Discord. And the title of the next article is Discord equals memory hog. What do we got here, Chris?
Give me 1 second. Sorry, my screen kind of flipped out there for a minute. Okay. Maybe from Discord. Yeah, so there was a discussion here on, I think it's Instagram as well. Discord admits Windows 11 app can become a RAM hog and is now testing auto restart when the usage passes 4 gig. A lot of the discourse and comments were it's probably a Windows problem. I'm not sure. I don't have any problems with Discord taking up a lot of RAM on mine, so it seems to work just fine. Oh well, it's running at 18% right now, and so I'm on the stream and everything, so it seems to be just fine.
We had somebody on the team who couldn't run Discord at the same time they were racing. For some reason, it was a problem.
It was Tom.
Um, uh, oh gosh, I can't think of his name. He hasn't been on it forever. It wasn't Tom.
Mackenzie.
Yep, that's it. Yep, Mackenzie, he couldn't do both, so
I think it was happening to Tom too, a
it
couple
yeah,
of times.
it might have been. I mean, and look, I mean, most of us that are sim racing, we probably have more RAM than we need anyway, so we may not be affected by it. I don't know. I mean, Windows 11, I think, is probably one of the worst operating systems that they've ever released, in my opinion. But whether it's Discord or Windows 11, but I don't know which. I haven't, like Chris says, I haven't had any issues that I know of.
Every time before a big race, I just go ahead and reboot. If I don't, weird stuff starts happening. So there's memory leaks all over the place.
Well, I mean, for me, I mean, I like we get done tonight, I shut the computer down. I turn it off every
Same.
night. Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
me too.
I'll sleep it. I'll sleep it during the day, like on a Saturday or something. You know, if I'm going to be on and off, I'll sleep it. But I shut mine down every single night.
Yeah, I shut it down at the night and reboot it before both before races, especially if I've been playing. I play when I want to just sit in a kind of a chill game. I play Civ 7, and that sucker seems if I play Civ 7 for a while and then go into either iRacing or DCS, it just lags to death unless I reboot. All right, Mike, we have a rear view dash.
Yeah, Sim Race Mods on the TikTok put up a video of a easy to do rear view screen dashboard thing. So he sells on simracemods.com this DDU with a button box thing below it. But he was asked, how do you show your rear view camera view on that DDU? And he goes through how to do that in the software and set that up, and it looks freaking cool as heck. And if you guys have any kind of screen incorporated in your system, you definitely want to check this out.
Yeah, I mean, it's through SimHub. So SimHub has an option where you can do a screen capture. So you can do that and end up having it go to a VCore screen like this. He uses the virtual mirror, just kind of, I don't know. I mean, it'd be neat to have, the camera, to like you would in a real car. You've got the digital camera there, but um, I don't know if I want to have the virtual and have that up as well because all you're doing is just pulling from the same thing. There's not much of a difference there.
I was hoping. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean it's again. There was one I watched, gosh, probably about a year ago. And what the guy did was he basically pulled it from um, the actual, the rear view camera in a car in the car. So he would have his DD. He had his screen up to where it would basically block that out. Oh, in front of it on the screen, and then was able to use the screen capture to make it come through on the digital display unit. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I don't know. I just run the virtual mirror. Just I can run if I run all the mirrors that they're just without racing. Having four mirrors on is just a stupid resource hog that just eats up freaking FPS. So I just run the virtual.
Yeah, I was definitely hoping he had it hooked up to a camera, but it was just a screen capture. I think that's how they do some of the DDUs have invisible screens so you can see behind your DDU. I think that's the same
Yeah, DNR,
thing.
Daniel Newman Racing. Yeah, you
Yep.
can basically do the same thing, which is kind of neat. The problem with that is depending on you can with SimHub, it's limited to whatever screen you have as your main screen. And I couldn't do it because I like my left monitor to be my main screen, not my center monitor. So it's just a limitation with SimHub. You can't go outside of your center
Center screen.
whatever. Well, you can't go outside of whatever
Whatever your main screen
yeah,
is
your main
marked.
screen
Yeah.
is. And I don't like my center one to be my main one. I like my left one to be one.
Yeah, we'll say sim race mods great for all kind of other stuff though. They do have some cool button boxes, aluminum knobs, all kind of mods for everything. They're really cool.
Yeah, I ordered some of their aluminum knobs for my Cube Controls F Core, so made it all red, which makes it look a lot nicer than what it did with the black plastic ones.
All right, next up, Brad, we have the SimuCube G6 bundle.
Oh, you missed one.
I did. I was jumping ahead. Before that, we have a 3D printed wheel mount. This one was posted by Jean P. Magnani. He just finished printing a 3D mount to install his SimMagic Alpha Evo onto a SimLab P1X. He didn't like the fact that you could only do it uses a separate front mount bracket, but when you try to run it on the SimLab front mount, it only fits if you rotate the wheelbase 90 degrees, and it works, but he wasn't okay running it like that, so he designed his own solution and made a 3D printed one. And I can't click on the pictures, but he's demonstrating it right here.
My concern with this is 3D printed indicates plastic. Is plastic not going to flex? I mean, is this going to be, realistic?
One he's using has that CF at the end, which means it has some carbon fiber in it, I think. But I mean, you'd have to print it solid for me to trust it, I think.
Solid plastic, the whole thing. It's not hollowed
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
right?
Not like, yeah, because typically you have this fill in the middle that just eats up the space with some air in between it.
Or you could find somebody with a metal 3D printer. Go hang out with SpaceX.
So I guess my question is too the SimLab P1X Pro that he's talking about. It doesn't have a proper way to mount this wheelbase.
It ain't a SimLab issue. This is a SimMagic issue.
I see.
When they did the Evos, they got rid of the default mounting brackets in the front, and you had to buy an adapter. I don't think there's any way to side mount it. You can side mount it, but it just was why they moved away from just having the traditional four holes at the front where you could front mount the unit. I have no idea why. Just this is I put that right up there with Moza not keeping the right distance to mount the M booster to a piece of you know 40 steel. All right, so jump into the article that Dave tried to jump to. We got Thermaltake's G6 bundle. So we talked about Thermaltake. Actually, we ran into them at the um, the Sim Gaming Expo. Yeah, it was where we made the notice that the cube control stuff looked like it was Thermaltake, but this is not that. This is the G6 bundle. This is going to come in at about 480 pounds, so that's probably what $600 US. It's set to be a direct competitor with the Moza R5. So you end up with the wheelbase. It's a 6 Newton-meter direct drive. You get the steering wheel as well. Pedal set, 3 pedal set. All of them use Hal effect sensors, so no load cell. That's a no-go for me right there, right off the bat. So some of the key observations, design and branding. It kind of looks kind of anonymous. There's just not much to the style. The wheel rims 330, so that's a good size. High quality. The stitching was good. Connectivity. The rear of the wheelbase features USB-C ports for peripherals, so that's a good thing. But at the end of the day, it's if you're going to try to compete with Moza, I think you probably I don't know. I think Moses is probably going to win on that side. Thermaltake is doing some stuff in house. We know that they've partnered with Cube Controls to do some stuff as well. But yeah, new people entering the sim hardware space. It would be hard for me to jump ship to something like that.
Yeah, it's a hard no for me. There's no ingenuity. It's just a carbon copy of other people's stuff, basically, is the way I see it. There's no effort.
All right, Chris, tell us about SimTech at PRI. This is almost a sim to reality kind of story.
I didn't see, I watched some of this. This is OC Racing. He did a YouTube on the 2026 SimTech. And I guess it was him at the show. What I watched was him talking about the Sabelt Sim Racing molded seat insert kit, where you break open the chemical in the thing and they shape it to your body. He had the MPI custom steering wheels. I think Brad just got one of these. High-end turnkey builds from Podium One says they had over 10 unique turnkey builds, including a $125,000 rig. Um, and I guess that one had a 6 degree of free or DOF. Then the Moza has some new hardware out, the R21 direct drive, of course, the active pedals. And they had a dedicated arena for dozens, or excuse me, where esport drivers competed live. And his main takeaway was the sim racing is officially outgrown its kind of niche status. So real world motorsport and sim racing kind of melding together, and uh, you know, it's kind of overlapping quite a bit now. So I didn't. I watched this one a while ago. So if I missed something, uh,
Yeah,
let
PRI
me
is
know.
is really a racing expo as far as real racing, right? And just a few
Yeah.
years ago, you wouldn't see anything sim racing related at this show, and so it is interesting to see all these different companies coming out. Um, Obviously, MPI, there's a good crossover there. They sell to both sim racers and real racers. Um, but yeah, pretty cool.
PRI does cover sim racing stuff, and they have for quite a while now, and they do a pretty good job. A lot of it's guys who have moved from constructing real stuff over to sim stuff, mainly at PRI because they use it to sell to real teams.
So, how about a little review, Brad, on that green wheel you got?
Still in the box, so I forgot that I had ordered my SemiCube wheel side uh, disconnect, but forgot that I had to get a wheel spacer in there as well. So that came in today actually from Amazon. But no, I think it looks fantastic. It's 15-inch. Can't wait to get it hooked up. I think I'm gonna christen it probably with the Daytona 500. So yeah, again, like I said in Discord, did I need it? Absolutely not. Did I want it? Absolutely, I wanted it. So I have another MPI wheel, got a 14-inch, which I love, and I'll use both of them. A little disappointed because our Etsy shop, Spectrum OG, that made the push to talk buttons has kind of disappeared. So he posted he was taking time off, and I'm a little disappointed I can't order another push to talk button box, and I'm frustrated if I have to go a different route to find one because they're much more expensive and have less options. So I sent him a message. So Spectrum OG, I know you got married and you moved to England, but please open your Etsy shop again. I need to order a push to talk button box.
First world problems. Well, look, now that you have a
Yes.
15-inch cup, Gen 7 rim, you can do it right for the Daytona 500. It'll be fun.
Yeah. So, like I said, I didn't need it, but and I did see in Discord one of our listeners grabbed the Bass Pro one as well. So, it's pretty cool. Again, not needed, absolutely wanted.
All right, Mike, we've got a Formula Rim, it looks like.
Yeah, we got a new one coming from Velocitas Imperium, and it launches January 3rd, and 1,400 euros for the complete unit. Now, there is a do it yourself kit starting at 350 euros. And yeah, I mean, it looks pretty nice. It almost looks like the Porsche rim, like a replica of the Porsche rim that's
It's
out there.
pretty, yeah, it's pretty much a knockoff.
Yep. Price point, I mean, for 1,400, I mean, what that Porsche rim is, what, 2,200? So yeah, there's a value there. It doesn't have the Porsche logo, but it looks like the Porsche wheel.
The next one doesn't have a Porsche logo either, does it, Brad?
No. So this is the SBR Formula Cockpit by Sims by Racers. It's pretty neat. I mean, I guess if you're a Formula guy, this is a It's a full motion rig, but you've got basically carbon fiber built in to be like the monocoque of the of a Formula car. So it starts with the idea from sketches to ergonomics, performance goals, then moves into full detailed CAD modeling. Every curve, mounting point, everything's been engineered with intention. So everything's been 3D printed, composite tool, mold, and then so forth. Things, I mean, it's pretty neat looking. If you're just a Formula guy, I mean, it's pretty neat, I guess. I mean, it's got a halo, it's got mirrors and stuff, which I'm not really sure what you would use the mirrors for, unless someone's going to sneak up behind you. Um,
Is the wheelbase all the way down by the feet?
Yeah, isn't that something?
yes.
I was going to say that. There's got to be a steering
Yep.
shaft hooking that up.
Yeah, it's a steering shaft that runs down through there, which is kind of neat. Seeing that made me think about our guy from that did the sprint cars, Maverick simulations, because he kind of did a similar thing where he would have you had basically with a steering shaft to do to model for the steering wheel and stuff. So yeah, pretty neat. I'm sure it's expensive as all get out.
At that angle too, it's going to have some kind of angular gearing or something, right?
A differential or
Oh,
something, right? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, no different than a steering shaft in a car. You're gonna have steering shaft. It's gonna come down. It's gonna have uh, I guess, differential. Yeah, you can actually see it with the second Instagram post. I think on the fourth page, you can actually see they have the top of the monocoque off, and you can actually see the steering shaft coming down and then going down into the wheelbase.
The cover of it has that carbon fiber look. Man, that looks really nice. It's beautiful. Now, this is the guy we spoke to at the Sim Gaming Expo. I think he was from Washington, and he does custom builds and stuff. And yeah, this is quite custom.
Yeah, they're the ones that had the seat slider and the pedal sliders that were on those plastic rails, Mike, if you remember. It
Yeah,
made it
they
really
right in the
easy.
route, the troughs, right?
Yep, yep, yep. Made it super easy to adjust either the seat or the pedal tray.
Mike, I think he's got bigger monitors.
Oh, this guy, it's Deshaun Watson. Now, I don't know who that is. I think he maybe is some kind of sports guy or something. But yeah, he's got him a rig from Podium One Racing, bright yellow Lamborghini, or no, excuse me, Ferrari. He's got the yellow seat with the big old Ferrari yellow logo with the prancing horse on it. Everything is, custom coded, but like you said, David, monitors, they look like maybe curved 55s. Yeah.
Quarterback, I believe, for the Cleveland Browns,
See, I knew he was
Former.
famous.
or former now. So that's a Podium One rig. It's probably going to set them back, what, 60, 70, 80,000 bucks?
Yep. But look, I mean, somebody like that who's got money, you want something cool. I mean, where else would you turn where you don't have to do all the work? You call up Podium One, say, hey, hook a brother up. They say write a check, and they deliver it.
Now it's interesting. Look at the window to the if you look at the window in the monitor, it just doesn't look like it's the right size.
It looks
It looks
giant.
like it looks like the vehicle he's in would be like um an APC or something.
Well, that's my entire issue with all of these ones that Podium One does. The scale, the world scale is so far off.
I feel like they put their monitors way too far away from the actual cockpit, but I don't know how those. I don't mind the flat big monitors. I don't know how much more I'd get out of the curve. Actually,
Aesthetically, the curve looks better. I mean, from when you just look at it, it looks better. But I
Hmm.
just think, from a performance standpoint. And I mean, I just flat is the way to go.
Agreed. There's a reason I picked flat over curved, and mine are 48s versus these or 55s or 60s. But even with the 48s, the world of view is bigger than normal. But I gotta say, you adapt to it pretty quickly.
All right, is Moza doing dashboards, Chris?
I think this is Apex Racing that makes this, but it looks like a pretty cool button box slash uh, wheelbase mount for the Moza. I didn't really look into this one. It looks like it's yeah, it looks kind of 3D printed, but it looks like that it's got a full on button box on the left with some knobs at the top. It's got their little logo on it, and it looks like you just bolt right into the front of that wheelbase. So if you're looking for immersion, I mean, I think that would be good.
And ease of installation. This is kind of like the DSD button
Mm.
boxes that I have that are just directly attached to the base.
Yeah, Apex has got these for multiple bases. They've been doing these for years. So, yeah, it's pretty neat. I mean, if you got a situation where I don't know. I mean, depending on if you're in a 80/20 rig, it just depends on how your uprights are and what kind of mounting brackets you've got for your wheelbase. But yeah, like Dave said, this is very reminiscent of the old DSD, button boxes and stuff like that. But yeah, it's pretty cool. They're not cheap, but it is good quality stuff.
And we've got a go big or go home. And he said he finally finished this project. I don't know if that means he built everything himself or not. It's kind of a rig review from Ki Rong Lee 84 over in China.
You've got
I
a
didn't know they had
Formula
access to the
cockpit.
internet.
Yeah, it looks like, you got the full monocoque, looks like a Formula cockpit kind of thing. But what intrigues me is his triple projector setup. And he's got like triple projectors, going onto a screen. That's kind of a, half, 360 or half of a 360 circle. Pretty cool looking.
So 180.
Yeah, duh, 180. Yep, that's what I was trying to say. But it looks like the cockpit has motion as well.
Mike didn't have time to ask Siri. For the record, whenever we're in NIS races, we'll always hear Mike ask Siri how many laps per tire. Uh, so that's what that's in reference to.
Yeah, I don't like
I
math.
do. No, it's a nice looking setup. I mean, I don't know if projectors are still really a thing that was a thing at one point. I don't know if some of the my guess is some of the probably the higher end the driver end loops are probably using projectors still would be my guess.
I commented on the Instagram post asking about delay or latency. There was no response, but my concern with triple projectors is they use a software to split the signal to the three projectors. It's like a box or a software that does it. And my understanding is those put a lot of delay in it, or a significant amount of delay.
Why would that's not a whole lot of difference than my triple screens. There's split signals going to each screen. What I can't imagine there'd be much of a delay.
All right, there's still a lot of topics left. We're definitely not going to get to any of them. Do you guys have any that you want to hit that you know of before we just go ahead and move on to results? Then let's roll the results, Mike.
All right. First we have Kyle, Daytona Roar, drove the number 19 LMP3, started P20, had to avoid the mess for the first handful of laps, Had a few self spins, but was able to keep it up near the front, shuffling between P5 to P10. Final stop, I came out P9 and just focused on getting as many positions as possible and brought home a P5. Bobby, P2.
Yep, it was a pretty clean race for me. Just kept it out of trouble. Avoided like 3 or 4 guys spinning right. I mean, literally right in front of me, enough to fill the screen across the 3 screens. But other than that, it was pretty uneventful. We just kind of kept our nose clean and just kept rolling.
A open, Kyle Pendergraph, P11. Started P7, just stayed there. Lap 32, cautions fly, and we all pit. I jump out to the pits P2s. Survived a couple more restarts, but on the last lap, a driver decides that it's okay to just wall ride the turns and drives through me on turns 1 and 2. On turns 3 and 4, he does the same, but this time takes me out. A protest was sure to follow. My racing, okay, Ringmeister, guys. Super Formula Light at the Ringmeister. I started P2, was running P3. When second place basically drove through the leader and wrecked him real hard. Uh, anyway, I had nowhere to go and ended up doing the T-bone. Next started second, coming into the final lap on a long straight side by side for the lead. He goes off and gets me into the fence, and I survive and go on to win the race. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Next attempt was chasing the leader, trying hard, hit the curbs and killed it. Next attempt had a great race with the leader until he wrecked out after putting heavy pressure on him, and I went on to win again. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Next attempt had the race lead barely, but made a mistake and spun out and gave up the win. Finished P2. Then switching cars to the Pro Mazda. Started 10th, ended up wrecking out. Then 10th, finished P2. Then finally got qualified, started P4, but wrecked out by barely clipping a curb. Then I got started P6, finished P5. Those guys are almost 2 seconds a lap faster than me. There's no way I am just not competitive when it's just one split. So I just don't do well when it doesn't split, because there's always these 3 or 4 thousand iRating guys in there that are way faster. Next on, started P6, was running third on lap 1 uh, when we got into it. I got a piece of it, but survived, but went on to gain an 11-second lead over the field and win in a very dominating fashion. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So that's a win every week in this series, except for the GT4 car so far this season. And then I try again lap 1. They wreck in front of me. There's nowhere to go, and I'm wrecked out in lap 1, turn 1. IMSA, David, P4.
Yeah, hi, this was P4. I've run a few races at Daytona. I've been fourth, fifth, or sixth. I ran one earlier before the show, and a couple of GT3s got sideways in the infield, and one of them came sliding back across the track, and I couldn't avoid him. So didn't finish well on that one, but that's probably okay because my I rating's been climbing up, and it means we're gonna have to run in a harder split than we want to. So I got to unintentionally tank. So we'll see. We'll see. I should avoid driving tomorrow because it'll probably go up.
Kyle Pendergraph, GTP BMW, started P13. Lap 4, P7 self spins in the horseshoe and collects me for 7 minutes of repairs. Go back out and keep pushing the car, finishing P6, 6 laps down. Then race 2, started P14. No incidents all race. Finished on the lead lap, P6. Race 3, started P8, moved up to P5, but went to pass a GT3 and he decided to dive bomb into the bus stop. So I locked up the brakes, spun the car, and fell back to P12. Raced my way up, pitting at halfway, and just clicked off the laps. Wouldn't you know, the same GT3 got the favor paid back. I drove it a little deeper than I normally would into turn 1, forcing him to veer off track, and as I went around him again, it vindicated and happy with paying him back without actually doing anything malicious. Brad, P9.
Yeah, I got one race in this week, and this was the first race of the week. So uh, P9 finished about where I started. I may have started eighth. I don't remember. But the story of this race was the prototypes were just absolutely a mess in this race. I don't know if it's just the first race of the week, but literally guys were overdriving every corner, wrecking each other. I mean, LMP2s, it didn't make a difference. I mean, it was just, I've never seen this. I just never seen the amount of GTPs causing all issues. I mean, it was 400 and some people in the race. So, it was, the split was a tight split, but just just crazy the way the guys were racing. So I ended up with with 8X, just for kind of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Just kind of hope this is not a sign of things to come in the 24.
In the GTP fields, it blows my mind. Every race, there is a lap one wreck. I mean, I can't. I really should start actually scientifically writing it down and keeping records. But just about every race, we're dodging people who overdrive the first corner. And I'm like, have you not been driving this car long enough to know you can't drive it like it's your hot lap second hot lap qualifying lap or fourth lap hot lap qualifying lap? Um, on top of that, people have to brake earlier when we're in traffic because you need reaction time. And we had another problem with this last race. I started in the back because of a connection issue, and the LMP2s did not wait until the green flag came out and were on top of us by turn one.
Well, if iRacing could ever get multi-class start straight, we wouldn't have to worry about that.
Let's talk league racing. David, you wanted to mention your league?
Yeah, we ran the league. I told you the top three. I did come in P5 as well. Um, Even with the smaller field, I ran in front of some people that usually run in front of me. So felt like I was a little bit faster at this track with this car combo than I have been. So, and it was nice to have a Martinsville race where we actually had green flag stops. It was pretty cool.
Interesting. Okay, grassroots racing league. Brad, P8.
Yeah, so P8, ran top five for about half the race. I didn't have the pace of the leader. The guy that was leading the GT3s was just stupid quick. So, kind of kept third and fourth in my sight, but decided to try a little different tire strategy. So I didn't take tires, and was fine. Would have worked out fine until I screwed up and self spun after the first stop. I guess I got about maybe 10 laps out after that and was pulling away from Will, but ended up just overcooked it into the first horseshoe and looped it. Caused me to give a bunch of track position and then ended up getting collected by a spinner coming out of the second horseshoe towards the end of the race. So, not really the finish I wanted. I really felt like I had a top five. This is the first race that out of the last three that I actually finished. So the last three of them I've wrecked out every time. So I'll just call that a win.
David, DNF.
Yeah, I didn't finish this one, and it was on me. A lot of people were having trouble. I don't know if it was the changes to the car made it a little bit more unstable, or if it was adapting to the LMP2 and then switching back to the BMW uh, caused me
They
caused me to get thrown off.
So in the Discord talk afterwards, there were quite a few GTP guys that were complaining about the cars just being unstable as well.
Okay, yeah, it just it's feeling a little bit more unstable since the change, and it's not just on cold tires because I was on my third stint. I was running really well. I double stinted my first set of tires, and it got a little hairy towards the end of about 100 liters worth of fuel on one set of tires, and then I was on the cold tires, was doing just fine, and just just turning laps on the third stint where I did have fresh tires, and it was about fifth or sixth lap in. They were warm. And it just snapped coming up on the onto the banking and overcorrected right nose into the wall. And I had already used my fast repair. So
All right, Major Series Snowball Derby. David, P10.
yeah, this was a caution fest like we expected it probably would be. Anytime we have a short track oval with a bunch of road racers, they just they can't calm down. I mean, it's not any really different than NIS. They just don't figure out after you've run 150 laps, wrecking every 10 laps, that you need to take it a little easier. So I literally I was just riding in the back until the last 40 laps, and there was only 10 laps left, only 10 cars left on the lead lap. And I actually ended up getting caught up in some damage at the end, and just in the process of fixing it, had to just start in the back of the field, but finished 10th because that's all that was left.
Brad P32.
Yeah, rather disappointing race. So, made top split. Car was good. Kind of worked my way up into the top 10. I ended up getting into another car. So, I mean, we're just racing hard and I don't know, somebody checked up in front of him, but he checked up hard and I tapped him and spun him. Okay, I get it. No big deal. So, as expected, got the in the longest line for that, as that's what the rules stated. So it's what it was. It's fine. So, but also I was protested for contact and ended up having to serve a drive through under green as well, which is pretty ridiculous. This would put me laps down, and then I finally got my lap back, and then from that point I wanted to just kind of get caught up in other people's stuff. Same scenario. I mean, again, I get it. The rules were if you cause a caution, you go to the rear. I'm fine with that. But the whole race was just an absolute mess. Race control was just a disaster. Um, you know, uh, we're supposed to have limited tires. We had unlimited tires. Um, so I voiced my opinion on the Discord. Um, just kind of disappointing. A series that really normally does a very good job. The whole event was just an absolute mess, and they've kind of acknowledged that to some degree. Uh, I hope it gets better. The race control was a big issue. I mean, it's a short track. Guys, you cannot get caught up in time to avoid black flags. The admin refused to extend the caution, so multiple guys got black flags. Some of them were waiting for him to clear it, ended up getting DQ'd. So it was a crap show.
Yeah, they also didn't put green white checkers in there, even though it indicated that there was green white checkers. They also didn't announce the drivers meeting as we were in the middle of practice. They just kind of somebody came in and said drivers meeting in the chat, and when we went in there, the drivers meeting was over. Uh, and so this was definitely the worst race they've ever run. That being said, I've been around long enough to know everybody can have a bad day. I know it's not how it normally runs, so hopefully all the things will be addressed and it should be fine. So when I was talking to one of the admins, I said we'll call this one. Hopefully we can all just call this one a mulligan, because it definitely didn't go well. But I know I'm going to discuss with them if you're going to automatically be giving EOLs out and automatically reviewing the ovals uh, cautions. If you've already reviewed it, there's no point in having a protest. And it was stupid to penalize somebody twice for something because even if they said that what they had told me is that you shouldn't have been given the EOL automatically if it was protested. But how is that person going to know whether they're going to protest or not? And so really, it should just be either just the EOL or just the drive through because you're not going to lose as many laps if you didn't serve the EOL because you're going to be further up in the field.
Yeah, like I said, just a mess. That's all it was. I mean, it's just a mess. And you got one admin in there, and he can't do it all. I mean, again, it's just
Oh, that reminded me, our admin didn't show. We had no live admin in the second split at all. The guy that was supposed to run it didn't show up, and one of the guys who could have been a backup admin didn't even own the track and wasn't listed as an admin. Couldn't get into the server, so we ran it without an admin the whole time. So we had no 75 lap caution clock and no penalties at all. So it just definitely added to the cluster of it. But like I said, it's not how I've never seen it run this bad before. So hopefully it's a fluke and they'll just we'll see how it goes next time around.
All right, let's move on to Mech Daytona 8 hour. Brad and Will squared P22.
yeah, the three W's. That's what we called ourselves. So so we started P11. William qualified the car, did a good job. But early on, I mean, it was like I don't know, lap 8 or something. It was pretty early. He had just a little bad run through the bus stop and caught the curb and kind of jumped to the right a little bit, and there was a GTP right on him, and it turned him. not really the fault of the GTP. I mean, honestly, probably could have given just a little bit more room, but it is what it is. So we ended up basically dropping all the way to the back of the field. So Will would end up getting in the car, and at that point, we kind of start to climb back to the front. We got back up into the top 10 when I was in for my second stint, I think, and actually got up to ninth, and we had our first caution, which was kind of cool. Although it was random, it was fine. You know, it was pretty neat. Took a little while to kind of get through it, and that's fine. I'm good with that. But it was pretty cool. So bunched the field back up. I think I restarted 12th and just was picking guys off through the infield. Got up to ninth and chased a guy down, passed him, and then he just murdered me in turn one. I just absolutely murdered me. So Will tried to protest but couldn't get the video uploaded and stuff. So whatever. Ended up with wheel damage. So we would end up using the fast repair for that. So Will got back in the car to start his final stints. We were at 29 of 30 X's at that point, and literally, I think I had three. I think Will had three, and William probably had four. Everything else was either from people hitting us, or being track blocked or whatever. So just a bad race on that standpoint. Um, but he would get back in the car and he ends up losing it going into the bus stop. That pushed us over 30. So as he's coming through to serve his drive through, he loses power at his house. You just can't make this stuff up. So, and then if that's ever happened to you, you're kind of, if whoever's in the server is just kind of in limbo, you can't do anything. You're just stuck until the game finally drops him. So that's like 5 or 6 minutes later. By the time he finally gets dropped, the amount of damage we had, it just didn't make any sense to keep going. We were not gonna fall very far. Attrition was very low, and I think that's probably can attribute that to having a fast repair. So I mean, at the end of the day, um, had we gotten back in the car and ran the last 3 hours, we would not gained any spots. So we just decided to park it. We're sitting 17th out of 54 in the pro-am points. So Sebring's next up. That's a good track for all three of us. So I think we got a good chance to bounce back. But I mean, overall, had a really good time. Yeah, it was kind of neat to do the caution thing. So that event went off really well. And was completely surprised Sunday night when we got into the snowball and it was a mess.
And then Tom Dreiling, David Hall, P7.
Yeah, we made mistakes early. We were driving a different car, the LMP2. We're not quite used to it, and I'm coming around lap one, not trying to run hard. I think I started P8 out of nine, um, and going into the corner, it looped on me, and I wasn't. I guess I don't know if I drove too deep or what, but I wasn't, trying to race anybody or anything. It just caught me off guard, and we had to fast repair that one. That burned up our fast repair. We ran pretty good for a while later, but we were we were second slowest qualifier, and we were definitely one of the slowest on the track as well. Not particularly fast in this car. Um, at one point in the middle of the race, we did have to protest a GT3. I was following another GT3 that was passing him on the outside of the kink, and he let the GT3 pass him, and then came over and doored us completely off the track. And he did get a drive through for that. Um, then at some point, Tom's game crashed while we are in the middle of the race. I jumped in and ran just a couple of laps while he got loaded back up. I wasn't too worried about it because at that point we were running in eighth place and we were not really going to catch anybody, and ninth place had stopped. Then he wrapped up. I finished up, and we did have one guy have a really bad accident, and we took seventh place. So um, we're considering maybe switching to the GTP, though I found it kind of entertaining in it for the change of being the middle class car. Particularly, I felt pretty comfortable with the GTPs, especially in the league, passing me because I know how to pass in the GTP, so I kind of knew what to expect everywhere. I think even better than some other regular LMP2 drivers might be. So I was never surprised by any of the moves, and would have to give up time here and there, but didn't have any problems with the GT3s or the GTPs.
All right, hosted Chris McGuire. I ran the P5 in the Car of Tomorrow Gen 5 at Talladega. There was a bunch of carnage, but I did end up with a respectable finish of P5. Final thoughts, Bobby Jonas.
Looking forward to the Rolex this weekend. Always a fun time, especially get to Daytona being my home track. So just looking forward to that.
All right, let's go get it. Brad Wren, final thought.
Same thing. So I think we got a pretty good team for the Rolex. I'm racing with three very fast guys, so I'm probably the slowest guy on the team. So kind of managing the schedule, kind of stuck myself in there as kind of the middle guy. I said I'll be the bronze guy that just kind of put me in the car. I'll keep it safe and try not to lose us any spots and give the fast guys, the opportunity to be quick. So, yeah, other than that, I mean, we're a week away from the actual Rolex 24 hours. So, racing season has started, people. It's the best time of year.
It is here. David Hall, final thought.
Ready for the 24-hour? Got all my intravenous caffeine ready, and we'll just try to outrun the garage.
Man, we had a P3 before, David. We got to do better than that.
Oh, I've had P3s and P2s. I've not won a 24-hour yet, but I've had uh, plenty of podiums.
Yeah, let's get that win this time. Doug Didi, final thought.
Yeah, just gonna watch you guys and good luck to everybody. And I'm just gonna be doing a lot of practice in the GT3s, GT4s. Don't want to be that person that wrecks in the first corner and just learn how to drive them cars.
Yeah, immerse yourself in the 24. It'll be fun. Chris Randall, final thought.
I'm finally getting my rig back up after about 2 months of not being able to race after putting the motion on it. Not because of that, but getting it dialed in. And I think we discussed a little bit before. I think I'm going to step away from ovals for a while and race some sports car, and looking forward to that.
All right. Yeah.
We could always use another GTP driver.
My final thought is, man, I'm hitting all cylinders at the Nordschleife Nürburgring. As we switch cars every week, I've been able to win in almost every car. And I feel like I've gone over the hump or something, and something's just clicking. And I think what it is the active pedals. I got to give credit to the active pedals. I've never run better in road since I've started with these different pedal set. And there's got to be a correlation. But loving the ring, but also looking forward to NIS Open. This will be my 14th season, I think. I've run them all, and I do believe I hold the record for most starts. So looking forward to starting some more NIS Open and getting this season rolling. And hey, we'll see you out on the track. Later. Okay, title ideas. We got 4.